Sony, let me talk to you for a second. Are you freaking kidding me? Really? I mean, you wait till I buy the Canon R7, which is filming us right now, to come out with a camera that is aps-c, cinema grade quality, 4K 120, built-in fan, so no need to worry about overheating, XLR handle if you want it, S-Cinetone if you want it, S-Log 3, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And you give it to us without the handle for $17.99. You want the handle? An extra $400. A crazy value. Why the hell did I buy a Canon R7? Let's get into it. So I mean, the biggest difference between the R7 and the FX30, because you gotta be fair to the R7, it is really a stills camera that can also shoot video. But the Sony FX30 is really a video camera that can also shoot pictures. So just the construction of the camera is really made for video in the fact that you can get an XLR handle for it. And I know you can get XLR inputs for an R7, but it's not the same thing. It's not a handle. It's just an XLR box. To me, there's a difference when it also comes with a handle, because now you can get lower angle shots with it. It's easier to put on a tripod, take off a tripod or a monopod with the handle. It's easier to hold. The handle allows you to do some hand holding a little easier. Trust me, it's always better when you have a handle as opposed to just having the camera to hold. Then it also has those quarter 20 threads around the camera. So now you can mount the camera vertically on a tripod. You can mount a handle to the side. You can mount other accessories to it without the need of a cage, because it already has those quarter 20s built in to the body. Going a step further, since they know it's for video specifically, they built fans into it so that you can get longer recording times without the camera overheating. Matter of fact, there is no record limit. And a cool thing about the R7 is there's also no record limit. But the camera can overheat, but I haven't had any problems with it overheating. But then again, since I've had the camera, it hasn't really been that hot. So who knows? Maybe it does overheat, I don't know. This thing can shoot up to 4K 120. That's something that the R7 cannot do. The R7 can shoot 4K 60, which is pretty darn good. And the image quality out of the 4K 60 is actually very good out of the R7 too. You don't have 4K 120, but you do have 120 for full HD. But in this camera, it's the same thing. You lose the audio, not in the Sony. You still have access to audio. And you're probably saying, well, who cares? Because if you're slowing it down to 120, you don't need the audio because it's going to sound like this. And nobody's going to use that audio. That is true. Except if you're shooting a wedding and you're shooting very, very fast pace, sometimes you're going to leave the camera in 4K 120 or full HD 120 by accident. And it is nice to have the audio because you could still put that 4K 120 on a regular, 24p timeline, and you can still get your audio in there, and everything's all good. Both of these cameras have image stabilization in them, and the R7 supposedly has better image stabilization. But if you've been watching my channel, I just did a video about image stabilization in this camera, and honestly, it's okay if you're using a native RFS lens, or maybe even RF, but if you're adapting lenses, it doesn't really work as well. And that brings me to the next thing, right? The Sony aps-c system has a lot of lenses. Matter of fact, Sony even made more lenses for it. They came out with 3 newer lenses for this camera as well. A newer power zoom, a wide power zoom. They came out with a 15mm f1.8, and I think they came out with an 11mm lens as well. So they're giving you a variety of options, and talking about lenses, one of the main reasons, where's that camera? There it is right here. One of the main reasons that I love this camera so much, this is the Sony a6600, is because of the lens that's on it right here. This is the 18-105. I might have mentioned this in a few different videos, but I absolutely love this lens because it is a power zoom lens. And you're like, so what? Why does that matter? It matters because when you're on a monopod or even a gimbal and you don't have to turn the barrel to zoom and all you have to do is go like this, It makes so much of a difference because you're not shaking your camera and you're getting steadier shots, you're getting better shots. And with the new FX30, they also added a little dial on the front that allows you to zoom in and out with the power zooms. You can zoom in and out with your finger here or here. So they give you two options for zooming, which I just think is so slick and so cool. I just think that's an amazing feature. To go a step further with the FX30, now when you put on a prime lens, that zoom toggle can also give you that clear image zoom even with a prime lens. So it's a 6K sensor that is being scaled down to 4K. So you can scale down and zoom in and out with that zoom toggle, even on a prime lens. And I imagine that if you're shooting in HD, you probably even have more zoom range. I think it's like a 1.5 times zoom. If you're in 4K, it's probably more if you're in HD. You're getting great image quality, good low light performance, base ISO of 800, and it has a dual ISO in it, so then it has another starting point at 2500. So you're gonna get clean images at 800, you get clean images at 2500 too. One of the big things that I really wanted in a camera, and it was one of the reasons why I bought a GH5 Mark II, but sadly I had to return it. It draws a square when you hit record. There's a red outline around the frame. Not only that, it has a tally light in the front and the back. And you're like, who cares about this stuff? I care, because it hasn't happened a lot, but it has happened to me on at least 2 occasions where I thought I was recording and I wasn't. So when you have a big freaking square drawn around the screen and a bright light in the front and the back, there's no way you're gonna miss hitting record. You're gonna know if you're recording or not. And I think that's a big feature. And it also has dual card slots. I'm always kind of afraid shooting with the A6600. If that card fails and I'm shooting someone's wedding, oh boy, that's gonna be a really bad day for me. It goes on and on. To me, this really crushes the R7 for video. I don't know about for pictures, but for video, it definitely crushes it. And why not? It's a cinema camera, and the R7 isn't. Matter of fact, as soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to pre-order it, and I can't wait for it to come. Listen, there's going to be more videos about the R7. I'm going to do a follow-up on that stabilization video because one of the viewers made a good suggestion. He said, hey, Mike, if you're having problems with the stabilization when adapting older lenses, maybe it's the adapter. Maybe because you're using a third party. Maybe you should try a Canon adapter. So I did. I bought it, and I'm going to let you see the results in a future video. If you're considering the R7 as a camera for video, you might want to consider a few things, so you might want to check out this video right here.